All right, everyone, got another big one from Brian Cates. For going on 3 years now, you've been told nobody was investigating who made this leak of the Flynn Kislyak call to Ignatius. The people who told you that were wrong. Trump, Sessions, Rosenstein, and now Barr and Durham have known all this time who the leaker is. Director of National Intelligence, Richard Grenell, declassifying that list of officials who unmasked Flynn's name is preparation. It's laying the groundwork. It is preparing the battlefield. Things are now at the point they can reveal who this leaker was. This leak investigation was joined at the hip with so many other investigations also rife with national security issues, it will stagger the mind when the entire story comes out. Arthur Schwartz notes, the leak to the Washington Post was one of the most malicious and damaging leaks in American political history. Each and every one of these 39 officials that showed an interest in General Flynn, including Biden, should be interrogated by the DOJ. Back to Brian. You were watching the unfolding of the strategy of revealing, at long last, who leaked the classified intelligence intercept to the Washington Post. They declassified the list and made it public because Durham is now at the stage where doing so won't compromise anything. The leaker is on that list. When the indictments are unsealed and the leaker is revealed, the dates will show the story. You'll see I was right. They've known who the leaker was since 2017. But you'll also see why this had to be done slowly, with the utmost care. Far from there being a massive cover-up underway, what was really underway was a massive counterintelligence sting on deeply embedded federal officials locked in a literal civil war with the new Trump administration. One false step, the entire U.S. government could have collapsed. How do you launch a massive counterintelligence operation against a cabal of federal officials and media people actively engaged in a huge RICO criminal conspiracy to overthrow a president? Very, very carefully. That's how. For 3 years, loud voices from the public gallery have yelled advice to Trump and his team about how they were going about this all wrong. To hear the loud voices tell it, the leaker should have been revealed 3 years ago, and this Pandora's box should have had the lid ripped off. First rule of Fight Club is that we don't talk about Fight Club. And the first rule of massive counterintelligence sting to save the U.S. government is that they don't talk about massive counterintelligence sting to save the U.S. government. So, none of the loud voices from the public gallery yelling advice to Trump had the first clue as to what was really going on. Military-style counterintelligence operations only work if they aren't blown, and its operatives are able to do their work without being exposed. As I've said for 3 years now, Trump and his team faced what looked like an impossible task in January 2017. They had to assume control and get command of a U.S. federal government that was full of powerful saboteurs, actively spying on them and trying to take them out. Let me tell you how you don't do that. You do not charge straight into the enemy's guns, right into their prepared defenses, and go down in a blaze of glory, which is exactly what every conservative pundit moron out there was screaming for Trump to do. By the middle of 2017, and endless, enthusiastic chorus had formed, screaming for Trump to fire Mueller, fire Rosenstein, fire Sessions, fire everybody, fire all the things, burn it all down, yada, yada, yada. In other words, useless, emotional venting. Trump is a realist. He's practical, utilitarian. He has no use for useless, dramatic gestures ending in abject failure. So, when he was faced with the problem of how do I assume control of a federal government chock full of people out to do me in, he handled that his way. And no, Charging straight into the enemy guns in mid-2017 and going out of office in a blaze of glory wasn't the strategy he devised with sharp people like Rogers and Flynn helping him put it together. Sorry if that disappoints you. You do not win a civil war to wrest control of the government from numerous highly placed seditious plotters while maintaining a functioning government by listening to pundits yelling for you to do something and charge into the enemy's prepared defenses right now or you're an idiot. This is what many refuse to understand, especially those that throw out calls to burn it all down. Trump had to maintain a functioning government to implement his agenda and make America great again while simultaneously rooting out all these saboteurs. Could you have done it? So when Trump, after winning the election in November 2016, during the transition, knowing full well what a dangerous situation he was about to step into in January, sat down to plan how he was going to accomplish this, he and some very smart people came up with a very good strategy. Almost every narrative you've been told for 3 years that begins with Trump had no idea what he was facing when he was inaugurated. He didn't know that they were spying on him or his team. He was caught by surprise by all of this, and he's been struggling to catch up ever since. Wrong. He acts like he was surprised. Yes, he puts out a cover story that he was shocked to discover Obama was spying on him. Wow, I just found out. Yes, he does. He will put out a cover story. He's very good at it. Here's what every single conservative pundit needs to pay attention to when it comes to trying to read Trump and what he is or isn't doing. You can't go by the surface of things because Trump himself has demonstrated that he will launch cover stories and make fake leaks. Think I'm joking about that? I'm not. Trump himself boasted at his very first official press conference as president that he had just fed the media a fake leak. And he rubbed their faces in it. He told them, the leaks are real, the news is fake. Did he not? Let's take a poll. Do you think Trump puts out cover stories and fake leaks or not? Simple poll, yes or no. By the way, current reading of this poll is 89.1% yes. The more time passes by, the more obvious many of these fake leaks and cover stories become. But most people don't remember what the cover stories or fake leaks were from last month, let alone 3 years ago. But I do. I researched this stuff. Trump has launched many cover stories. What's that hand I see there? Ask your question. Are you claiming Trump will deliberately mislead the media, even conservative reporters? Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Trump does not owe these people the truth. Many of them would actively sabotage him if they could. I wrote this for Uncover DC last year, and it's still timely. Media people got the vapors when Corey Lewandowski bluntly testified he didn't owe the news media the truth. And he was 100% right to say that. From the column. Understand this well. The DNC media complex will deliberately present disinformation given to it by its political masters to trick the public and place their political opponents at a disadvantage. They use long-practiced Alinsky tactics with relish. It's not about the truth. It's about power. Trump knows the true nature of this, how the Democrats use the partisan media to lie about and attack their political enemies with lies, smears, and disinformation. And Trump and his people give it right back to them. So, hell yes. Trump and his team will deliberately give the news media cover stories and rabbits to chase to keep them out of their way so that they can get stuff done and nobody can leak or sabotage it. And the biggest cover story of all is that the incoming Trump team had no clue they were being spied on. Trump and Sessions and Pompeo and Flynn and company, why, they just pranced into their respective offices in January 2017 like innocent babes lost in the woods, no idea at all. I'm okay with the cover story. It's useful. That's why Trump put it out there. The best way to disarm an enemy trap is to pretend you're not aware of it while you carefully walk around it as you lay traps of your own for the people trying to trap you. And they trapped the leaker of the Flynn call 3 years ago. I'm going to belabor this point. They've known who it was for 3 years due to the very serious and crucial national security reasons. They've had to keep that and the investigation of it classified until now. This is what is going to blow people's minds when the indictment is unsealed. People are going to look at the dates. The fake news media and the conservative news media are going to have their jaws hit the floor at the same time. They knew for 3 years, and it didn't leak, as I've said for 3 years now. The silent professionals are in charge of this. They don't leak classified information themselves as they investigate and prepare to prosecute leakers of classified information. You didn't like that? You have no idea how much I don't care. My very first column for Epoch Times back in 2018, The Great Leak Hunt. And from September 2018, here's one of my best, The Silent Professionals. Links in the description. From the column, in stark contrast to the Mueller special counsel team and the strategic leakers at the FBI, are the federal investigators and prosecutors that I like to refer to as the silent professionals. Far from seeking constant attention and leaking to drive media narratives that can be weaponized against specific targets, these silent professionals just go about their jobs in the shadows. You don't even know they are there, and that's what makes them so lethal. Washington has a leak culture. It is nothing short of astounding that someone of McCabe's stature could be the subject of a federal prosecution using a grand jury for more than 6 months, and the investigation didn't leak. All those media people wailing nothing's happening for the past year are wrong. Plenty is happening. It's just that the people making things happen aren't ready to tell you or their targets about what they've found and what they've really been doing just yet. Remember, Durham was investigating classified leaks out of the FBI long before Attorney General Barr tapped him publicly to lead the team of U.S. attorneys looking into the origins of the Russiagate hoax. You didn't know Barr had sent Jensen into the District of Columbia United States Attorney's Office until he announced it. Back to the column. As I wrote in an earlier column, every single top person in the Trump administration came into office after the inauguration in January 2017, knowing what they faced in the Spygate plot. Trump knew, Sessions knew, Rosenstein knew, and so did Mike Pompeo. The narrative that Trump and his team came into office clueless about the Spygate plot is quite simply nonsense. Trump and his team came up with a plan to counter Spygate involving a lot of deception and stealth investigations. No matter what you think about that plan or how you feel about it, whether you think the strategy is right or wrong, Trump had his reasons for doing things this way. In the end, it comes down to whether you trust Trump or not, that he knows what he's doing. A whole lot of people who call themselves Trump supporters don't trust him. Deep down, they think he's a blithering idiot. It's as simple as that. So, once again, I go on the record showing you what I was saying in 2018. Trump had a plan he was implementing to simultaneously get control of the government, root out saboteurs and spies and prepare to prosecute them, and 3, implement his MAGA agenda. No idiot could have done it. And then, at the end of it all, he has to get reelected. He's going to accomplish that also, even as the usual loud voices from the public gallery wail he's doing nothing about vote fraud and Democrats are going to steal the election while he uselessly stumbles around. The economy hasn't even come roaring back yet following this massive black swan event of a worldwide pandemic. When it does, imagine what his current approval numbers will climb to. All the liberal hopes this Chinese Communist Party virus and their relentlessly attacking Trump would destroy him are now dashed. Trump did it his way. Rejoice, little flock, because victory is assured. They can't stop a thing that's coming. I wouldn't want to be the Flynn leaker right now for all the money in the world.